to all of you. I'm Shrija. My participant number is G2.3. I'm here to narrate a story titled The Tale of Peter Rabbit, written by Beatrix Potter. This story is about a young, mischievous rabbit named Peter who goes into Mr. Gregor's garden despite his mother's words. And then, unfortunately, Mr. Gregor notices Peter and Peter gets trapped inside the garden. Will he manage to escape from the garden? Do you want to know that? Well then, be all ears to this action-packed story. The Tale of Peter Rabbit, written by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there lived 4 bunnies, Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. One day, their mother told him, "Now, my dears, you can go down to the lane or into the fields, but don't go to Mr. Gregor's garden. Your father had an accident there." Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to collect some blackberries. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight to Mr. Gregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First, he ate some lettuce, then some French beans, then some radishes, and then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round down at the end of the cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. Gregor? Mr. Gregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages. But when he saw Peter, he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop thief! Stop thief!" Peter was dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, the other among the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs even faster. But unfortunately, he ran to a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons in his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Peter gave up himself for lost. His sobs were heard by some friendly sparrows who implored him to exert himself. When Mr. Gregor came up with a sieve to pop upon the top of Peter, Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. Mr. Gregor then thought to himself, I'm so tired running after this bunny. I'll go back to my work." And thinking so, he went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and was puzzled and baffled and had no idea which way to go. And then, after resting for a while, Peter began to walk. Lippity, loppity, lippity, loppity, lippity, loppity. Not very fast. And then, suddenly, he heard a noise. Scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. Mr. Gregor was hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter silently scuttered underneath the bushes and then ran as fast as he could. Mr. Gregor got sight of him in a corner, but Peter did not care. He slid underneath the gate, and was safe outside the garden. Peter did not stop running or even turn back until he reached home. That evening, Peter was not very well. His mother gave him chamomile tea and made him rest. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail enjoyed bread, milk, and blackberries for supper. Seeing his sisters enjoy the delicious meal, Peter thought to himself, had I listened to my mother, I would have not got into so much trouble. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed my story.